horn line to speak. But sometimes I don't think that articulation gets the right staccato in there with a little more attack. So I'll just copy a staccato French horn into that spot. Here it is separately. I put it together. Listen to how it speaks now. There's just enough legato in there and enough attack from the staccato French horns to get that thing. So if you add it to the entire ensemble, the entire orchestra, that's how it works, and that's how you get everything sounding like an orchestra.
And that's how a grand opening looks like.
Exactly. Hey, everybody.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 38 of the VoiceIt show, everybody. How are you guys doing? It feels so good to be back again this week. And that what you saw just now was just a gist, a sneak peek into our guests' brilliance, his work life. And thank you so much, everyone who is writing in the comment section. Thank you so much for joining again. We had a blast last week, and this week it's gonna be awesome as well. But before we move on, please subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Okay, I'm pointing in the wrong direction again. God, this StreamYard, right? So yeah, you'll see the subscribe button at the bottom. And so please go ahead and subscribe. And a special shout out, just like always, to our patrons. So Funky, please go ahead.
Yes, as always, a special shout out goes to Anders Lindholm, Shelley O'Neill, Edan Gorak, Chris Vickery, and of course, Lori D. Sandoval. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much for supporting our show. And
Yes.
now for the man of the hour, our special guest. Funky, you want to introduce?
Of course. So today we are so blessed to have with us an artist endowed with multitudinous talents. And yes, we are talking about SHEM von SCHROECK. He is the phenomenal bassist and backing vocalist for the legendary Grammy-winning band Toto. And he has also toured with many Grammy-winning award artists like Kenny Loggins, Don Felder, Michael McDonald, Tom Jones, David Foster, Richard Marx, and many others. And he's a veteran of the stage and the recording studio and has performed in all 50 states in 44 countries as a singer, multi-instrumentalist, and music director in various genres.
Yes. And Shem is formally educated in music theory and composition from Manhattan School of Music and in classical voice and performance from El Camino College. He has also conducted several pop concerts with the Columbus Symphony, the Oklahoma, the Dallas, the Little Rock Symphony, and the Hollywood Bowl and the Boston Pops Orchestra. He's also composed music scores for Ancient Games production, Toward the Storm being the latest one. He's also worked on several projects like The Apex and his own album named Son of Arthur, and to date, he is heavily immersed in studio work. He's also an author of a thriller fiction novel and a fitness enthusiast. And there's so much more maybe we have still missed out on, maybe, but we'll find out as we chat with him. So with a huge honor, we welcome Mr. Shem von SCHROECK. Hello.
Welcome.
Hey guys, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Excellent.
We're so good to see you. We're so delighted. Thank you so much for coming on the VoiceIt show. We feel so blessed. Thank you for joining.
It's my pleasure, absolutely.
So how are you doing and what's happening in Shem's world right now?
Well, it's morning here. It's a little after 9. It's it's the earliest I've ever done an interview. So hope I look awake. No, but just finishing my chores and having my coffee. So it's all good.
Awesome.
Wow. Okay. So let's begin with the day then. How does a typical day look like? How does your typical day look like?
Well, when it's not touring or on the road, if I'm home, it's waking up, like watering the plants, doing some chores, cleaning the pool out there a little bit, and I get my coffee and read the news. And then probably go to the gym or hike up the mountain here behind my house and do some sort of physical fitness, workout of some kind, and then get home and start working, whether it be whatever project I'm working on. It's usually here in my studio, and that's pretty much it. And next thing I know, it's 5, 6 o'clock in the afternoon. So pretty much just work all day.
Sure.
Yeah.
And how is it when you are on tour?
Well, depending on your schedule, right, where you are, that's pretty much. If it's been an all-night bus ride, you wake up in the next town, wherever that may be. Usually check into a hotel, have some breakfast, and just kind of relax. I always like to go out if it's especially a place I've never been. Which I had a lot of opportunities to do that with Toto. I like to walk around and see the town and get some history and find out a lot about what some of the landmark places and the history behind them. I'm very into that. So and I was able to share a little bit of that on some of my social media posts. That was a lot of fun to do, and I very much look forward to that every day, being able to check things out and then share what I was doing with people that had never gotten a chance to be there. So that was always fun.
Wow.
And then of course, then there was sound check, right? And then there's the show.
Yeah.
And then then you get on the bus and head to the next town, and 4 hours later, 8 hours later, you're there, depending on the distance.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true. And quite interesting as well.
Yeah, interesting for sure.
Yeah.
So let's continue with, I'm going to take you to the very beginning. So apparently, as we know, you've been entertaining audiences since the age of 3. So can you tell us how your musical journey started?
Well, it really starts with my parents, my father in particular. He's a musician, a brilliant musician, and he played on stage. My mom and dad played on stage together, both singers. My dad's a multi-instrumentalist, jazz pianist, drummer, vibraphonist, and great orchestral arranger. And that's so that type of level of musicality was in the house. So if you were going to embrace that, which I did, there was a standard of level of music making that kind of needed to be there, and it was important to me to embrace those things and try to not emulate what he was doing, but at least be able to talk shop with him about it. And then as I got older, he invited me to play on some of his recording sessions. At age 13, age 14, I was playing drums on a lot of his recording sessions he was doing in New York City, which were at that time was for jingles and music for radio and TV commercials. And I got to play drums alongside some legendary bass players, Will Lee, Marcus Miller, when I was a teenager. So that kind of experience, that was the best teacher. That was better than any formal education I had, was on the job training, and I mean that literally, on the job. So that's kind of just being around that environment, musical environment, in those formative years was very important, and I really gobbled that up, and I'm very thankful for those beginnings.
Yeah,
absolutely. But bass wasn't the first thing you learned playing. It was the drums?
Yes, drums and piano.
Piano.
Yeah.
Right.
Because that's what my dad played. and those instruments were in the house. So
So,
that was
yeah.
what was available. Yeah, I became a bass player by accident, really.
Oh.
You found your brother's bass?
Yeah, my dad, we all played drums. Everybody in the house played drums, and my dad said, somebody in this house has to play something else.
Mm-hmm.
So a known session bass player in New York, a guy named Chet Amsterdam, loaned my dad a Fender Mustang bass, a little undersized,
Wow.
7/8 scale kind of Fender, kind of a precision, a small precision. And and my brother played it for a while and did it, but I used to just pick it up and play it for fun.
Mm-hmm.
And it came naturally, and just
Right.
as life went on, and you start to, you want to work, it just became, well,
Sure.
there's more of a need for a singing bass player than drummer. There's a million drummers out there, but a singing bass player is a valuable commodity in a band. So that's the direction I went.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a good direction. And well, you play so many instruments, but is there an instrument that you don't play but would love to?
The joke I always say is I don't play trombone.
Yeah.
That's the one that got by me.
Yeah.
I don't play any of the brass instruments. I can play a C scale on a trumpet, but I don't play any of the brass instruments. But I did play most of the woodwinds. And I play cello and I play double bass. I couldn't get this position of the violin and viola.
Yeah.
That one, I said, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to have to really commit to it. And there's too many other things I wanted to do. But cello and double bass were also instruments I played in string quartets and then in orchestras as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's awesome.
So when you got to MICE, that is 26, how did you look at life then? When you were 20s, what was happening?
In my 20s?
When you were 20, yeah, in your 20s.
In my 20s, I was making a I was going to Manhattan School of Music, and I was also playing a lot of what they would call on the East Coast, they would call them club dates. On the West Coast, they would call them casuals.
Okay.
It's playing weddings and playing high society functions as a drummer. Mm-hmm. And then I got a job working for a music production house in New York City, and I was the principal writer and composer for this company, and that was age 22. And I worked there for quite a while, and that was really good training, just to be able to have to write something right away. Like you got 20 minutes to write a song. We need to record it in an hour. It needs to be on the air by the end of the day. That kind of thing.
Wow.
That kind of pressure. So
real quick. Yeah.
So you don't even think about the pressure. You just do it.
Yeah.
there's no you have no choice.
No
the situation is forcing you to make it happen. So that was really good training, and that's helped me along the way. And then as the timeline goes, at age 23, I picked everything up and threw it in my little car and drove to LA and moved there, and was there for 17 years. And that's where, if you want to say, my touring career started. And that started with the band Ambrosia.
Yeah. Kenny Loggins. And
yeah. And then a few years later, it was Kenny Loggins, and it just went from there. Christopher Cross, and just, met people along the way. Met some great musicians along the way. Met some really good musicians that became really good friends. And we've all just gotten each other work and recommended each other for this and that. And that becomes a nice pool of contacts that you make that can help your career get going. And when someone's recommending you for somebody, you don't want to let them down. So you stay at a level where, and it goes vice versa. If I'm going to recommend someone, if it doesn't work out, that doesn't make me look good. So those those kind of connections and contacts are important. And I've been very blessed to have a great group of friends and colleagues that we've all helped each other.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And let's get back to instruments. So besides your instruments, what are the top 5 things you make sure to carry with you on a tour?
As far as equipment?
Yeah.
That's a hard one, because And I have to say, I admit I've gotten spoiled because I don't have to carry anything.
Oh.
It's carried for you. You have the wonderful road crew that is out there carrying your stuff for you.
Yeah.
So as far as equipment goes, I don't see any of my equipment until I get to sound check. I don't see any of it until I get to the stage. It's all taken care of, and I've been very blessed to have some fantastic bass and guitar techs over the years. Nora, Johnny Gosnell, these guys have just been, you know, they take such good care of us that way. So I don't know if I can't really answer your question that way, but if now let's say I'm playing in a bar, I'm playing at a club or something. You got your bass, you got your amplifier, your cabinet, you got your cables, you gotta plug them in, and then mic stand and microphone.
Yeah, that's
from there you go. And I think that's 5.
Sure.
there's your necessary 5.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, besides your instruments, besides your musical instruments, what are the things that you carry with you on a tour, or make sure you carry? Top 5 things.
I have a backpack that I carry, and inside there I've got pretty much everything I need. So you got your main valise or suitcase that you bring, and that's got all your clothes and things. And I also bring like workout bands and stuff, you know, to work out. But the backpack's got the laptop in there. It's got some listening speakers, and it's got all little personal items that you need. And that's the most valuable thing on the road that I take is that backpack.
Awesome.
It's got the passport in there. It's got all the necessary things you need to travel. Especially
Yes. Yes. Cool. So what are, some of the things that you have learned by observing the legends that you work with?
Well, that's a tough one too. There's so much you can learn as a professional on how to do a job. Everybody makes music slightly different. There's different artists make music different. They approach it. Their point A to point B is different than someone else. I would say the most challenging artist to work with from a musical standpoint was Kenny Loggins. And that's because he's always changing his arrangements, right? He's never satisfied. He's always, and I don't know if it's boredom. I don't know what it is. I worked with him for a better part of 24 years. And I was as his music director too. So working very closely with him that way. He likes to experiment. He likes to change things. So just when you get comfortable playing a part, singing a part, he'll change your vocal part and expect you to do that on stage. So things are always changing. And not to mention his music is challenging too. I found his music more challenging to play and perform than Toto's music.
Wow.
And it's true. It's what is required of you to nail the Kenny Loggins gig. Was much more challenging because a lot of the changes and some consistent intricacies of his music. Toto, in the 3 years with Toto, I can't remember changing one arrangement because this is the arrangement. It's iconic. Let's play it, and that would best serve that music. Kenny's different. He's interested in pleasing himself more than his audience. And that presented challenges just on how to keep up with him. You have to almost anticipate where he's going to go, and that's not always predictable. But
expect the unexpected.
Yeah. So to answer your question, the learning experience, I learned a lot from that, and it makes you better. You're like, oh, here comes another change. Oh, we're doing this again. But it prepares you for the next thing that you do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, life is always about, life's always trying to teach you a lesson. It's up to us to pay attention. And I certainly learned a lot from that experience, and I'm grateful for it. It made me better.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Absolutely.
And
I'm just imagining how much you need to be on your toes when working with someone like Kenny Loggins.
yeah.
That's right. That's right. He's such a musical guy. He just oozes musicality, and it comes out in everything he does. And I learned a lot. Grateful for those years.
Yeah,
Sure.
and here's something I'm interested in. So I'm a huge Tom Jones fan. And I read somewhere that you have worked with him. So
Yes.
can you tell us the story behind that?
Sure. That's one of the most fun times I've had in my career as a touring musician. Tom likes to work. He likes to get out there and play. He does 200, or in those days, he was doing 240 to 260 shows a year.
Yeah.
You know, with a artist like Kenny Loggins or Toto, maybe you'll do 60 to 80.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Jones, it's over 200 shows a year. So it was just, we're on the road constantly. And I really enjoyed working with Tom. He's a great guy. He's a lot of fun. He's a simple man. He likes 5 things, and that's really all he's interested in his life. I used to have this list memorized, but I used to say, and this is in no particular order. His favorite is to sing. He loves to sing. I've never known anyone who loves to sing more than Tom. He likes steak dinner, Dom Perignon, Cuban cigars, and the ladies.
Yeah.
and
There you go.
and that's it. Outside of that, he's really not interested. So he just has a wonderful life. He loves touring. People don't realize he's one of the wealthiest entertainers in existence.
He is.
He's very and he invested early in his career when he was making money and when his career first began. He's done really, really well. Of all the singers I've worked with, that's the hugest voice I've ever been around.
Yeah.
He's a baritone, but he has B flats, B's, and C's.
Yeah, what a
So
voice.
in the classical world, we would call him a true Helden tenor. If we're talking in the German Fach system, he is. If you stand too close to him while he's singing, your face will start to melt because he's just this colossal voice, and it's great. I have nothing but fond memories of that experience working with Tom, and I can't believe that was 98. That's a long time ago.
98. Wow.
Yeah. The entire year of 98, January to December, New Year's Eve. I did that whole 98 tour. That was great. We went a lot of great places too.
Wow, that's impressive. Well, thank you for telling us a story.
Oh, yeah.
And
Sure.
I love
What
his
a
voice.
splendid memory.
He's a legend. He's a
legend. I have nothing but respect for Tom. And like I said, he's a good man too. He's just a simple, decent, and that much exposure to him, 260 shows. I never saw him get upset once.
Yeah.
Just an even guy. He walked in, he goes, "Hello, how's everyone? Good, let's sing." And he just goes.
Yeah.
And it's great. Nothing but good, nothing but praise.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah.
Straightforward. He's sorted. Very well sorted. Cool. So when it comes to the backing vocals in the songs like Only the Children and Home of the Brave, where the vocals are high and they stay in the same register throughout. So how does one obtain stamina for it?
Well, for one, sometimes, everybody's voice lives in a certain area, register-wise, right? Some people are just comfortable singing in a certain register.
Right.
I'm not hugely comfortable singing up there in that tessitura for that long. But you can do things to. The smart vocalist is the vocalist that survives. You have to be smart. Singing has to be has to have a
There you
level of intelligence going into the singing, because you can really hurt yourself if you try to do things that are not wise. So
True.
those songs in particular, yeah, they sit in that high register. So you have to prepare. It's how you attack a note. It's how you prepare the note before you actually strike it. You know.
Right.
So, and I'm a tenor, so my voice does favor living in that area, in that register. But
Right.
but I don't just open my mouth and belt it out. I'm conscious of making it work. You know, I'm
Right.
at a level of experience and wisdom to singing those songs that even, you know, that you mentioned there as examples. It's necessary to be wise.
Right.
And I'll tell you an example about Joe.
Sure.
Joseph Williams, you know,
Yes.
singer with Toto, a monster singer,
Toto.
amazing. You know, he was
Oh,
with
yeah.
Toto, he was with Toto in the '80s, and he said that he tried to just sing and sing and sing, and he hurt himself, and it was very difficult for him. So when he came back to Toto, he was much wiser, and he
Yeah.
approached things in a different way. Same songs, but he approached things
Right.
in a much wiser, more experienced way. He learned from mistakes, and he's taken that,
Right.
and now listen to him now, and it's just he came out on stage and he nailed it every night because of that wisdom, because of that experience. Same like
Marvelous.
same songs, but now he just knows how to approach them. So
Oh yeah.
that's a
Brilliant.
great example for, I think, the question you're asking.
True. Brilliant. And now I want to take you to Toto, the 40 tours around the sun. That was, first of all, that album is amazing. I'm a huge fan of it. And, it was filmed in Amsterdam
Correct.
in front of a sold out audience of more than 18,000 people. How did you guys, first of all, prepare for it? How many cameras were set? And tell about that whole experience. Tell us about it.
About shooting that Blu-ray, the DVD.
Yeah. The DVD and your entire experience of the tour.
That's one of the most fun tours I've been on, from the standpoint of, you know, getting to play this great music with such incredible musicians, and the places that we went. You know, I went to, you know, I went to some countries. In your opening, you said 44 countries. It's actually 66.
Oh.
Ah.
You might have been reading an older, you know,
Yeah,
older
probably.
bio, but just
Correction.
got to go to some great places. How did we prepare for that? Well, usually when a band is going to record, especially video, a concert, they usually schedule that concert later in a tour, right? So that you have several shows beforehand to prepare to get the band really in a great spot, and
Right.
everybody's just clicking, and the chemistry's there. And by the time you get to filming, you're not even aware or conscious that you're filming. And I'm not sure the number of cameras on that shoot, possibly 6 or 7. But we were just ready. We were just ready to do the show, and the audience was fantastic. And just by coincidence, my niece happened to be touring Europe, just going around and touring, and she happened to be in Amsterdam that day. And so she got to come to the show, which is just one of those things, you know, lightning struck there.
That's
But it was a marvelous experience. That was a 9-week tour. That was from February into late April.
My God. Yeah.
And we were tired. We were very tired, but it was a wonderful touring experience. Those 3 months were fantastic.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's so amazing. And
Really.
so you have made music trailers, game trailers, musical scores, and all kinds of songs, but what is the favorite one you've made for someone?
Wow. Like something I'm most proud of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my favorite things that I do is when I get to write orchestral.
Mm-hmm.
When I get to write in the symphonic style and with that instrumentation. And it's a very short piece, but I really just, I think my writing came together when I was writing for Rise of Babylon. And that's,
yeah.
I think that's the first posted thing on my SoundCloud page. Probably first posted there because that's the one I'm most proud of. I like want people to hear that one. But that's just, everything kind of came together. And what's interesting about that piece is there's no woodwinds. It's one of the few things that I've written for orchestra that there's no woodwinds.
Yeah.
But you don't miss them. It just was, it's kind of required for that piece that there are no woodwinds. But I like that one. Anything in that genre, I just jump at the chance. There's the Equinox. It's part two of Equinox coming, but part one, that's the same kind of instrumentation and writing style. And I get to do what I love. And there's no one telling me what to do. It's like this is like go right.
Your flow.
Yeah, exactly. So that's probably stuff like that. And I have a suite for orchestra called Mark of the Curse, which was originally for a film. And then I just excerpted it and got it down to, a suite of five movements. And all these things are up on my SoundCloud page. So.
Yes.
Stuff like that.
And the link is in the description of this video, folks. So check out.
Right.
And I just found the backstage picture of you guys.
That's us at rehearsals in LA at Dirk Schubert's place there at the power plant there in North Valley there, North Hollywood.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wow. Awesome. So we have a question related to that, and this was asked by Funky. Please read.
So Alex ST Guitar is asking, what was the funniest story when you were on the road with Toto?
It's impossible to answer because there's a lot.
Give us one.
I'm blanking. My mind is a blank.
Yeah, that's the fun thing about it.
I've talked about being, there's a front lounge of the bus and there's a back lounge of the bus. And the front lounge of the bus was mostly, it was David Page, Joseph Williams, myself, and Warren Ham, and one of the best crew guys in the world, Steve Cohen. And we would just sit up front and tell stories and laugh. And I looked forward to those couple of hours before we would go to sleep. It's just the bond. I wish I could come up with a funny story, but I'm blanking on it right now. So Alex, I apologize.
It's okay.
I apologize.
We'll work through it throughout the course of this interview, so it'll come sometime.
It'll come, right? Yeah, hopefully.
Cool. So also you mentioned that one of the most challenging Toto songs are written by Steve Porcaro. And why is that so?
I think people are when I say that, and I've said that a few times in interviews, I think they're surprised at that, because the songs that Steve wrote for the Toto albums, a lot of them are ballads, slower tempo songs, songs that don't require a lot of dexterity. But there's something about the way Steve writes that the bass lines have to be phrased a certain way. Even the song Human Nature, right? It's a synth bass on the record, right? So the way you approach it with electric bass, there's a certain length of note that's important. The length of notes, Steve's picky about this. So it's not just playing the notes, it's giving it, within a millisecond of the duration of a note, the sustain of the note has to be just right. And that's the way he wants it. And he's particular about that. And he should be. They're his songs. So it's not so much a challenge of their difficult parts. There's there's a way he wants it that isn't necessarily how I would do it. So I'm having to go outside of myself, because a lot of the other Toto songs, well, you're playing the standard bass line that's on the record. You're able to play some of your own things. You're supposed to phrase things a different way, use a different choice of register. You know, a lot of the stuff with David Hungate in the early albums, there weren't 5-string basses in those days. So you're dropping some octaves with the 5-string bass. But with Steve's songs, there's a particular way he wants it. And to deliver it the way he wants it, you've got to step outside yourself. And I found that not challenging isn't the right word. I found it interesting. Interesting. And I enjoyed it. And you know, Steve's the one that recommended me to the band, so I wanted to do right by him and play his songs the way he wanted to play it. You know, it's just
absolutely.
Best way to respect him is to, you know, give him what he wants.
True.
Yep. Absolutely. There you go. And another thing is this picture. This is something interesting, right?
Yeah.
So do you wanna tell us about this?
Yeah. I think I posted something on Instagram about that.
Right. Yeah.
If you look at that picture and you look at what's happening, that's the same moment in the show, but from 3 different shows.
Yeah.
And that's life. And I try to explain that when Don plays a lot of the when Don Felder plays a lot of the songs that were sung by Don Henley, it's more comfortable for him to drop the key a little bit, tune the guitar down to E flat concerts. But I hated doing that because it's just messing with my perfect pitch. My fingers here, I want to hear that tone. I want to hear that note. So I stayed in E, you know, standard E tuning. But in order to get that, you know, there's that moment in the song where it's dum 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 dum, or for that dum, it's usually on the it's an open E, right? Funky, you know this, you're a bass player. But we don't have that note. I need the low E flat because they're in E, the rest of the band's in E flat. So I had to hammer on with my right hand, cross hand, and then I have to play. The bass is actually the melody at that point. Yeah. And the is a harmony part that Don's playing on the guitar.
Yeah.
So that was always became a moment in the show, and Don would always just like look over, like, "How are you doing that?" And like that, there's no other way to play it because you need that low note. You can't play the high note. It just doesn't sound right. That's a big.
He would dig that.
Yeah. So that just became like a funny moment in the show for us, and you can see from the pictures that it's just it was just one of those times. And in one of those pictures, you can see I'm really concentrating on what I'm doing. That's probably an early, the one on the upper left is the one where you can see, like, that's probably early in the tour where I'm working that out.
Right.
Yeah. And
that's really cool, though.
Yeah, that's what I was playing Music Man bass there. That was Don's Music Man that we brought on the road.
Yeah. Oh, wow. So cool.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's truly impressive. And so now let's talk about you as an author. So when and how did that whole journey begin, and what can you tell us about Ghosts of the Fathers?
Well, I used to write stories when I was a kid. I thought that there was a possible future for me as an author when I was first, second, third grade. I used to write stories, and I remember my teacher saw me doing that, and she had me read my stories to the class. And I remember being up there going, "How did I get up here? Like, why am I even standing here?" But I like creating. I like fiction, and I like, you know, if there's a certain something that I want to say that's important to me, the fiction is a great way to deliver a philosophy, a message. So, Ghosts of the Fathers came about just from, you know, there's I'm not a big conspiracy theory guy. I like to live in reality, but there's an element when you are creating a story from scratch and it's your story. You can ask what if all day long. What if, and that's why off the subject, one of my favorite movies in the last 5 years is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the Quentin Tarantino film, because it's the what if. What if they had gone to the wrong house? What if? And so, and I just think that movie is just crafted so well. But without giving the story away of my story, because I'm still working on it. The book is finished. It's just not. Doesn't have all the I's dotted and the T's crossed, metaphorically. But it's a work in progress. It's been frustrating because I'm having difficulty devoting the time to it. I've been working on it since 2011. Right, I wrote the story in 2011, completed the whole draft, but and I would work on it on the road. But the Toto schedule was hard. And I found myself, I couldn't concentrate. I lost focus on working on the book when I was on the road with Toto. So, so it's a frustrating topic for me right now because I haven't been able to devote the time to it. But it's a relevant story in terms of its theme and the things that are happening in the world. And so I'm focused on so many other things right now. With the last year and COVID and everything, it really shut our industry down. And a lot of people, a lot of us musicians and artists have had to really scramble to make things work and find work in different areas of music and entertainment. And so that's my main focus. Survival is a compelling thing. So I'll get back to it at some point and I'll finish it up. But like I said, it's a frustrating topic for me right now because those times where you're lying in bed and you can't sleep, and that's one of the things in my mind. Like, I gotta get the book finished. I gotta finish the book. So at some point it'll happen, but it'll come. It'll come. But thanks for asking about it.
It will happen. Yes, absolutely. And we wish you all the best with the book. So we're rooting for you.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, whenever you continue with writing it, all the best to you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna ask you now about the orchestral part of your career. When you're conducting, and how is conducting, obviously it's different, but how different it is and how much you have to micromanage things when you're writing the string arrangements and whatnot, and when you have the baton in your hand, so to say.
Well, as a conductor, let's say you're conducting an existing piece, right? You're conducting a famous symphony, or you're conducting a piece that's well known. It's probably more than likely that the musicians have played it more than you've conducted it. So there's really not a lot the conductor needs to do, right? Yeah. The maestro has to have a little sense of humility and say, you've played the Brahms Third Symphony more than I've conducted it. So I'm not going to have this command over the orchestra. I'm just gonna persuade you to maybe do a couple things the way I want you to do it. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think that's the place a conductor should approach conducting from. Now, if you're conducting your own arrangement or your own composition, of course you have the final say on how you want something played. And in that case, the orchestra's never played it before. They're looking at the page for the first time, and they're seeing note passages for the first time. So I'll give you an example. When I was conducting for Kenny Loggins, because Kenny Loggins did a lot of symphony shows.
Yeah.
We would travel around to a lot of the symphonies, and he would do this symphony show. It was completely different than his regular show. Same songs, but very, just performed very differently. And these orchestral players are I'm saying this affectionately, they're very kind of snobby. And I say that with respect for them, because they're amazing players, right? They can read anything off the page the first time they see it like they've played it 10 times. That's the level of musician and player they are. Right. So when they see this guy come up on stage with, who's dressed in this, more rock outfit, they're like, who's this guy? This is like, this is they don't want to work any harder than they need to. And they shouldn't. They've earned the right to be there, right? So they don't want their time wasted. They're very like, how long a rehearsal is going to be? That's really what they're thinking when they see a new conductor or a new artist come up on stage with them. So you have to win them over in the first 5 minutes. You've got to let them know this is going to go very smoothly. And as soon as they know it's going to go smoothly and they're going to get their 15-minute break in a half an hour, they love you. When they see, so you have to come into that situation very prepared to be able to anticipate any question, be able to anticipate everything. So if you've written the chart, you're much more, you know the material well, and you can answer that. But if you're conducting someone else's music or someone else's arrangement, you've got to know that arrangement really well so that you can avoid or anticipate any question that's coming your way. And that helped me out greatly because that was my least favorite part of the moment, was stepping onto that podium for the first moment of rehearsal and just seeing the looks of look of utter disgust, So, but again, it's just, you're forced into the situation. This must happen. So you win them over. But the best way to handle them is to have respect for them, right? This is their house. This is their orchestra. This is their room. This is their concert hall. Yes. You're the intruder. So if you go in there like with some, with this attitude of you're this grand maestro, I don't think that serves the situation well. So you gotta know your place. And like I said, as soon as you win them over and you see their confidence come, like, oh, this is going to be smooth, it's grand. And I've gotten such wonderful feedback from orchestra members in the past after the concert. Musicians come up and they say, boy, that was really a great experience. And, I really enjoyed the work and enjoyed the concert. So that's a rewarding feeling. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Absolutely. Very much so.
Yeah.
So first comes winning the hearts, and then comes winning the music and whatnot.
It's true. It's just because everyone's playing the same music doesn't mean everyone has the same emotional experience dealing with the unknown, right?
Right.
A lot of insecurities come out when people are dealing with the unknown. And when it's a new situation for everyone, there's the unknown. So people are more apt to handle it because of their own securities, and other people aren't. So you got to bend and feel that out and use your people smarts. And touring, I've been to 84 countries, performed in 66. Your people smarts. You're educated a little bit there about how to deal with people.
Yeah,
absolutely. You want to give us some tips on that? Please.
Maybe do the lecture circuit or something and talk about that. But it's I enjoy that. I love. It's one of the great treasures of being able to tour the world many times over. Is you just meet people you would never meet, people with their own history, their own families, their own ups and downs, and their joys.
Right.
It's what a thrill to be able to do that. And I'm just so thankful for it. I love it.
Yeah, totally and absolutely. That's really wonderful.
Yeah.
And I have a question about the baton that a conductor has. Is there a technique involved in the gestures that you do? Is there a technique to do those gestures, or is that more of a thing that happens naturally?
No, I mean there are certain styles.
Okay.
The conductor of the Boston Pops, he conducts with his hands. Everything is with the hand. And when I saw that done, I realized, because all the baton is, and usually the baton is a little even lighter color than this. It's just so that it can be seen, so that the guys in the back can see where everything's being beat and cued and moved and all this, right? It's just so that it can be seen. But if you are strong with your gestures and you're clear, you can really do the same thing. And I almost found it more effective with the hands, just hands.
Yeah. I see.
What people also can be confusing, and you can learn this the hard way as a conductor, you know, as a rhythm section musician, right? Bass player or drummer. Everything is on the beat, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And you have to nail that. But when you cue a downbeat, like let's say this is the tempo, the conductor has to be before it. It's
whoa.
The orchestra wants to see this before they attack the note. It's bum, bum, not bum. You don't conduct on the beat. You have to be ahead. So it's when you've practiced and you've played to groove on the beat and nail when you're conducting, it's can be a little awkward. So I do what I call cheating when I conduct hands, because it's, if I want that to be so if I'm conducting this tempo in 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, I'm just letting my up hands, the up motion of the hands, be where it sits.
Right.
That makes sense?
Right.
So 1.
Wow.
So when I hit the downbeat, it's just the up.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's so much cheating, but that's how I would get by that. If I was.
That's more of a hack.
Yeah, that's smart.
Than cheating. That's smart. That's a hack.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
What was challenging for me was sometimes I would conduct Kenny Loggins stuff while playing the bass. So this hand has to be conducting, you know, I would do a lot of head cues, you know, because Kenny Loggins, the tempo is the same throughout the whole song. It's a pop song. So the tempo's not changing. So I don't have to slow them down for any retardation. You know, I don't have to do any of that stuff, you know, solo rondos or, you know. So, but sometimes when I have to hit cues, I'd have to have the cue early, but I still have to play it in time on the beat. Those were some crazy moments.
Right.
Well, that's really impressive. That's really impressive. And I have to say that conductors, I don't know why, but they remind me of wizards with those wands. So, yeah, I mean, the things you do, you really are a wizard. So, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Again,
that is so true.
Trust the musicians have more than likely played the piece more than you've conducted it. So leave it in their hands. Just persuade them here and there.
Yeah.
You know, you don't command them. You're not, you know, it's. I don't think it should be dictatorial. You know, even though the maestro is the maestro, you know, the master. But nah, just let them play. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Right. Beautiful. Okay. That was so beautiful. And then in 2014, the Apex was released. Now, Apex, by the way, folks, is SHEM himself and Mr. Steve, I hope I'm saying this right, D. Stanislaw?
Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah, the Apex. The Apex.
Yeah.
That was a band or a group formed. We were on a Kenny Loggins tour. He was doing a Christmas tour. And I forget what year specifically, but on drums was Steve. On guitar was Chris Rodriguez. Great guitar player. Yeah, there's Steve. Stevie D.
Stevie D.
Yeah. the greatest drummer. Just hands down. But
Pink Floyd, right? David Gilmour.
David Gilmour, yes. David Gilmour, Crosby, Stills and Nash, Don Felder, Kenny Loggins. He's done a lot of stuff. But the three of us, Chris Rodriguez, Steve, myself, would sit in the back of the bus and we would watch old Police concert videos, you know, by the Police. We just said we should start our own band. and write some songs and do that. And that's what we were going to do. You know, Chris lived in Nashville, I'm in Phoenix, and Stevie lives in the LA area. And Chris just wasn't available. You know, he wanted to do stuff, he just wasn't available. So I just started to write songs and put together little demos with me playing guitar. And what was supposed to be a power trio turned into a power duo. And we found it difficult to make the time for it. But we were at least able to get at 3 songs and put out a 3-song EP, which is available on iTunes and CD Baby. You can get it. So it's 3 songs.
Link in description again.
And we did one music video for it, for Faith to Die. That's on my YouTube channel.
Link in description again.
you guys are on it. You've been doing this for like 20 years. You're on it. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So cool, and that's really awesome. I love that video, by the way. And the song, Faith to Die.
That was
amazing.
That was my last project I did on the old Final Cut Pro before it went to version 10. And I didn't know anything about 10, so I was like, oh, I should have waited till I learned 10 because there was so much more better editing things there. So that's my one regret when I watched. I'm like, I could have fixed that part in 10.
Yeah.
Wow, but nah, really cool, really cool. And then Son of Arthur happened way before it happened in 2001.
Yes.
Right?
Son of Arthur
was something. Yeah.
When I was on the road with Tom Jones, the guitar player in the band used to leave his acoustic guitar just kind of sitting out on the lounge bus. So I would just pick it up and play it. And at the time, I really didn't consider myself a great guitar player, but I would just play. And like anything, when you're not thinking about it, you're getting better. Like I remember when I taught myself I wanted to play hockey, when I taught myself I wanted to learn the stick and the puck and get all the puck movements. But what I wasn't realizing was I was skating, but I wasn't thinking about my skating. I'm playing hockey. You know, I'm like skating, crossing over. I'm like, how did I learn to do that? Because I wasn't thinking about it. Same thing with guitar. I just was, thinking about other things and playing, and my playing got better. My songwriting on guitar got better. And I had this pocket full of songs. And when I got off the road, I said, I'm going to start recording some of these things. And I thought at first it was going to be full production stuff. And then a very good friend of mine, John DeFaria, who I was in a Police tribute band with for years, and he's still a good friend, great composer. He said, make an acoustic album, because these songs just sound great with you with your voice and just playing acoustic guitar. Make that the centerpiece of the album. Make it like you're just on stage playing that, and maybe put some arrangement and things behind you. And I went,
right,
interesting. And that's how Son of Arthur came about. And I just basically recorded it in a home studio like this. And it was recorded to ADATs. There was no computers. It was all an acoustic album. Everything on the record was recorded with a microphone. Everything. Even the bass was plugged into an amp, but the mic was recording the amp.
Oh, wow.
And one thing about that album is I had walking pneumonia during the vocals of that album.
Oh my!
I got is like the only time in my life I've ever been sick. I never get sick. I'm just a nuclear immune system, and but I caught pneumonia and it just wouldn't go away. The bacteria was going, we like it here, we want to stay. So when I listen to the vocals, I can still hear it. And it was getting to the point where I was putting off the vocals and delaying recording. And I finally said, I just got to sing through it. And it probably wasn't very wise, but I got it done. And that was the one drag about recording that, was just like, I couldn't get past it because I was fully functional, right? When you have walking pneumonia, you can get around, but it just sat here. And
right.
But Son of Arthur was a challenge because it went outside of my comfort zone. I'm playing guitar and approaching music in a completely different way. And I'm trapped inside myself. That song you mentioned, that's one of my favorites on that record too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I like that. Just it came out in a way that I didn't expect. You know, that's one of the fun things about recording music. It just you have a you know, an idea of what it's going to sound like, and then when it comes out the other end of the cheese grater, it's like something else. You know.
Yeah.
So, and that's one of those songs. I did not expect it to turn out that way. I like it.
My God.
Wow.
Yeah. Please check out the album, folks. It's really, really fantastic. You're gonna love it.
Thank you, guys.
And amazing album. So, you know, we haven't even gotten into fitness yet, but we are still on to talking about music and stuff. And we're already over 1 hour. Okay, Funky, you want to ask Anders question?
Yeah, sure.
People's questions. Yeah.
Anders question. So Anders Lindholm is asking, so does Shem have a piece of gear that he lost and wishes he could get back? Preferably a guitar, but it can of course be anything.
Oh, yes. And it wasn't mine, but it was borrowing. I was borrowing. It was a music swap. Like, here, you take this, and I'll keep this for a while. You know. I had a Gibson SG model double neck bass and guitar.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
So it was a bass up top and a guitar on the bottom.
Wow.
And
Wow.
I loved that thing. The bass had a tone that I'll never hear again. And I had that for several years. And my buddy Paul Cote, he wanted it back. I was like, he said, yeah, you still have that thing? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, well, I got that phone call. That was a sad day. So I didn't lose it or you know, but
yeah.
So that was one thing I lost, and would love to have back. But speaking of lost, we're searching for my my rig, the bass amp and rig that I used on the first tour with Toto. We can't locate it right now.
Yeah.
It's a mystery. So I'm looking to get my Galen Kruger gear back.
Yeah.
Ongoing investigation.
Wow.
As to what happened to my gear.
FBI.
Yeah.
FBI, yeah, we're bringing in the federales here. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm sure there's something I'm not thinking of that I lost that I'd love to get back. There's so much gear, so much gear.
Yeah.
So many years, so much gear.
Yeah. Well, okay. I hope one day you will, you know, play that guitar again, bass guitar, whatever.
I was gonna say the same.
Yeah.
I have a photo of me playing it somewhere. If I was able to post it, I could do that. I might even be on this computer here.
Yeah. We'll find it. Maybe you can send it, you know, later time.
Maybe, yeah. After it, maybe you can post it on your Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be fun. Okay. Can you tell us your fan moment? Who was it with?
My fan moment?
Right now for us, it is with you. For you, who was it with?
Oh, you know, because I've been around great musicians, artists, a lot of actors, because my dad's been involved in the film industry and in New York and stuff. I grew up meeting celebrities and stars and singers, cool. And but there's been moments where my jaw just drops and I'm just like a little boy in the room. And that was when I got to meet my favorite opera singer and favorite opera artist.
Yeah, who was
it? And that's John Vickers.
Mm-hmm.
He passed away a few years ago in 2015, but I was very fortunate to be able to meet him and really spend some good quality time with him. mentored me on some things and some roles, and yeah, just that was a dream come true. That I actually get a little emotional thinking about it, because he's just so, what an amazing artist. John Vickers, Jon Vickers. Kind of an even bigger voice than Tom Jones, if you will.
I mean,
but the same type of voice, in that they're like almost a baritone with high notes, held in heroic tenor. Amazing experience being able to spend really good quality time with him. I was very starstruck about that.
Wow.
I'm kind of an old soul when it comes to, I'm much more, it's a much more grand experience for me to meet an old time actor or artist. There's a show on TV called The Virginian. It was a Western show. Ran from in the 50s into early 60s. And and my dear friend Timothy Drury, who's a keyboard player and great composer, and I played with him for years with Don Felder. His father was the Virginian, James Drury.
Oh,
and
wow!
I grew up watching that show, and there was an opportunity to meet him. And when I got to meet James Drury, that was a moment. And that was a huge fan moment for me.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I have to say, getting to meet and work with David Page from Toto, I was fanned out when I got to meet him for the first time. And yeah,
he's one of your heroes too. Yeah.
And we still have a great friendship, and we text all the time. We're always sending some joke back.
Yeah.
So,
that's awesome.
I just have respect for the seasoned artist. I have much more respect.
Yes.
Much more of a thrill for me to meet and experience those guys.
Wow.
Yeah. That's amazing.
So honored. Yeah.
Is there anyone that you would like to meet but haven't yet?
Well, I grew up as a big Sting fan, and for some reason, I've just, crossed, I've met pretty much, everyone that wanted me, but Sting always gets to, he eludes me somehow in my travels. I would love to meet and have lunch with people. What's that? Who'd you like? One person you get to meet and have lunch with. That would be John Cleese from Monty Python.
Yeah.
Faulty
Monty
Towers.
Python. Yeah.
That would be an hour of fun. I just love his mind, and I love just how he
Very fun.
looks at life. Even more than his comedy. I love how he sees the world and looks at life, and I think that'd be a fun lunch.
Yeah, well, I hope you get to meet him and have lunch with him and talk with him one day.
Well, they say never meet your heroes, right? Keep them iconic and keep them as your heroes. Keep them at a distance. And I'm not saying this that something like that would go wrong or anything.
Yeah.
But the other one they say is even more importantly, sometimes don't work with your heroes.
Oh.
That often, but yeah, John Cleese, that'd be fun.
Cool. Cool. Okay. So I guess we'll take one more question, Funky. It's already more than an hour, but we do have a lot of questions. So maybe request if you'd like to join us for a part 2 in the future. Would you like to join us again on the VoiceIt show?
Would I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. Anytime. Just say the word.
Yay.
Yeah, anytime.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So, our last question for today would be, obviously the last year was a bit of a challenge for everyone and the music industry. And, how did you keep your spirit up in this challenging time? And what would be your piece of advice for everyone that is watching or listening right now and looks up to you?
First of all, worry about what you can control, right?
Mhm.
If it's and a lot of us, that was probably the biggest challenge, is we lost control of the things we normally could control.
Yeah.
Right.
I kept my spirits up by having some wonderful people around me. I had wonderful people around me.
Mhm.
Wow.
And so that's one thing, associations. Art is a wonderful escape from your day to day. And I have this, you can't see it, but I have this really great room here where I work, and just creating, stimulating the mind, and not getting drawn into, you can really dwell on the negative. And this last year of all of our lives, we definitely had permission to dwell on the negative.
Mhm.
But
Right.
but to just have for me, I'm fortunate. I had the luxury to just have the ability to create and stimulate, those creative juices, which is very rewarding. Everybody talks about the financial reward, but why do you want to get into music? Well, I want to get into it for the money and the women. That's it. Like, well, but the artistic reward is everything. It's not about the money. The money will come. It's the artistic reward. It's something that makes you feel really good. And you don't even have to share it. You don't even have to post it. Everybody's posting. Post. There's so many things that I've done and created that I haven't posted. Just because it's just I love that, and that's for my heart and my heart alone. And to
Soul satisfaction.
Yes. If I'm to give advice, find something you love. Find something you love to do. Find something that you don't necessarily have to share with anyone. It's right. The hard part was during lockdowns. How were you able to do this? Find something that stimulates your mind, and reading. I love to read. So I'm kind of spinning this answer around in different directions, because it's a very interesting question.
We love that. Cool.
Yeah, it's an interesting question. But I feel fortunate enough that I'm a creative person, and I have that luxury to be able to create and drown out all the negativity.
Yeah.
Around perfectly.
Those are some wise words. Yeah. Thank you for the advice.
And be like the bear, that video one, which SHEM has posted on his Instagram. So you need to look that up, folks. There's a bear video that SHEM has posted. There's a teddy bear. You got it. So I want to share your socials right now with people. First of all, thank you for staying with us and tuning in. Please go check out SHEM on shemworks.com. You'll find all the information there. And obviously, please follow him on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook, Facebook @ SHEM von SCHROECK. And there you go. And please check out the links in the description of this video, because you'll find all these links below. So please go ahead and check out. And thank you so much, SHEM, for joining us today and giving your valuable time from your morning to us. We are so delighted and so honored, and we have learned so much from this interview. And I can't put it in words. It's been such an honor.
Thank you guys. I really respect what you guys are doing too, and you guys are putting yourselves out there and doing a great job. I mean, you guys do this it's so professional how you have all this set up. It's really wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations to you guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And you'll
And
post this, right? You post your interviews, right? This is live, but you also post them to your YouTube channel. Is that right?
Yeah, it's gonna be there. Yeah.
Oh,
this will
okay,
stay
great.
now.
Great.
Yeah. So as soon as we end, it's gonna be on YouTube.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So yeah, people will be able to watch it as soon as we end the live. So please go ahead and watch the rebroadcast if you missed the live. So yeah, there you go. And yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in. And this has been an amazing time with Shem. Obviously, well, whatever amount of time you spend, it's gonna seem a little less. So we're gonna meet for part 2 with Shem in the future and talk more about the things we did not talk and maybe about the things we talked, but in much deeper sense. So thank you so much, Shem, once again for coming on the VoiceIt show. And we are truly grateful for you. And may you have a great weekend ahead. And we wish you all the best. Thank you. And all the best for your projects that are going on. And more to come.
Best of luck to you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And please stay with us for a moment as soon as we turn on the intro and we end the live. Please stay with us. Hang on. Okay. Thank you, folks. Peace out and keep loving. And ciao for now. See you guys. Take care.